No more noise. Irredeemable. Well, number 7. You can hear everything. Super hearing. So those bubbles, word bubbles, show him hearing everything. And one day he gets treated rudely by someone he helps. And he says, "Give me one moment of peace. I owe you nothing." And as he flies off into space, you see the noise bubbles of people around the earth calling for help or any other sounds he can hear. Finally, he was only there for a few seconds, but peace, quiet. Cities did not become possible until humans were able to produce more than they consumed and had found ways of storing the surplus. The refrigerator is one of the main reasons that the human population has grown. Remember that article I read you about pandemics? You go back to find the source. The source, I believe, is our food. You can't have sex without energy. And to get energy, you need food. You take that food away, and they cannot breed. Half the developing countries, 8 to 10 people are farmers. So you got Africa, you got all of Africa practically, and China, Asia, India, China, South America, all these developing nations. That's why they're so big, and one of the reasons they're big in population. And they have a positive growth, and I would even add an accelerated growth. I want you to remember this. Look at that. Tokyo's subways, used by millions of workers every day, employ pushers to crowd commuters into the trains. The suburbs are linked to the city by bus and rail lines, and Tokyo's freeway public transportation systems are continually clogged by a vast population. National Geographic, Cuba at a Crossroads, August 1991. Migrants. Freedom for those escaping equals escape for those besieging the Yugoslav embassies, where visas are swarming a ship in hopes of passage to Italy or anywhere. To entrepreneurs, freedom equals goods from Greece, where they swap livelihood for electronics and appliances. This is back in, I think, 1980 or somewhere around there. National Geographic. Shopping for food is like stalking prices, photographer Ben Givino. Shortages are chronic, and loaves from a state-run bread factory are gone by afternoon, so when bread made with donated Turkish flour goes on sale, crowds clamor in a bakery that must keep its loaves behind barred doors. I think this is the article on somewhere in Europe, of course. I don't think it's necessarily in Turkey. Maybe Estonia, I don't know. This is page 72 to 71. National Geographic. I found that photo of that woman crying. That was in National Geographic Taiwan issue, September 92. I asked if she was crying. "No," she snapped. "My eyes just won't stop watering. I'm not sad, I'm angry. Miss Chen died last June." And by the way, just, I believe, is the second most false word used ever. It's an extraneous word. It's a negative connotative word. Nothing's ever just. Oh, there she is. Noxious air brings tears to Chen Wantu, their home near Laiyan, in the industrial heart of Taiwan. Chen's doctor believes factory emissions caused her liver cancer. She died in June in Taipei, where cars and motorcycles create much smog that smothers the capital. The government directs a top priority campaign which devices to protect the environment. Dolphins. Noise. What did dolphins think about all this traffic? I asked. Randy knows those wild animals so well that any perturbations of their world is immediately obvious to them. Well, you might think they like it, but I can tell you that after a weekend when this channel really goes crazy, dolphins tend to be quite skittish and difficult to approach. They don't recover for a day or two. The worst are the jet skis, because they aren't limited to channels. They can go anywhere. Dolphins in Crisis. Geographic, September 92. Pollution comes in many forms. The sound of a jet ski and other personal watercraft that pound across the water like aquatic snowmobiles can break your sense of seclusion from far, far away. People old enough to remember might find the sound reminiscent of the old-style dentist drill, the kind where lots of belts and pulleys that didn't have constant power but would surge when the dentist stepped on the foot pedal. The sound of those things kind of reminds me of that. Minnesota Memoir. Industrial age, revolution, cause of all the problems. One of the big problems. Sevenfold population increase. It's in Vancouver. This I call my wall of death. I just wanted to